Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Tonight in CVM News, young Jamaica calls for PNP MP to resign. Western Jamaica records several incidents of deaths and robberies. For Inspired Jamaica, a young woman's journey that leaves her now poised to give back. PAJ Awards celebrates journalists and truth always. Internationally, huge explosions rattle Tehran as US-Iran conflict continues. In sports, cup holders Cavalier win again in National Premier League. Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7 for Sunday, March 8, 2026, on this International Women's Day. I am Caroline Brown. Thanks so much for joining us. A St. James woman is dead following an incident at her home. She has been identified as 53-year-old Juneth Hickey, otherwise called Lorraine, of Goodwill Anchovy in the parish. From information received, Miss Hickey and a man said to be her spouse of a Mount Salem St. James address had an argument. Residents reported hearing a commotion coming from the yard and saw Hickey covered in blood running towards another house where her son resides. Miss Hickey fell at the gate before residents could render assistance. The police, who were alerted, say they saw Miss Hickey suffering from what appeared to be multiple chop wounds to her left hand. One of her fingers was severed. Hickey was rushed to the Cornwall Regional Hospital where she was pronounced dead on arrival. Meanwhile, a trail of blood led the lawmen to an apartment at Valencia Drive in Mount Salem. Checks were made and the severed finger was found inside the bedroom. The apartment was covered in what appeared to be blood stains. Now, the spouse was not seen and neighbors were unable to account for his whereabouts. A family is raising questions after the death of a loved one said to be of unsound mind. She was hit by a motor car in Trelawny. However, as you'll hear in this report, the driver is not being blamed for the incident, as appeals are being made for the general area where the incident took place to be better lit.
Cars speeding by, things at a standstill at this home. A child's cry in the midst of pain and uncertainty. A mother taken out of this world after being hit by a motor vehicle this weekend. Just before midnight Saturday, 39-year-old Shanice Curry, unemployed, was hit by a speeding car along the North Coast Highway in the vicinity of the JPS power plant in Carey Park, Duncan's, Trelawny. Daylight Saturday, and children and family slowly coming to terms with the incident. Relatives remember seeing Miss Curry leaving the house.
When me go down, when me took the ball down, and they carry the ball and them have to go for yard down there, so it's not right down there, so she's not right down there, so me say, hey ma'am, when me go to the house, me a boom, and me say to my daughter, say, oh what that? What if I came? So when me run down, so I run down, so I look, actually let me see that the road, that the bush. And then me come and wake up my sister, wake up everybody, and tell me to him then.
Last time I get to hug my sister and feel her and kiss her up was Sunday.
That particular area of the highway at the JPS substation is poorly lit, and visibility is impaired for many who use that section of the roadway. Miss Curry, who lived in the area, was reportedly hit by a JDF corporal who was traveling from Duncan's towards Falmouth. It is alleged that Miss Curry, who suffered from a mental condition, was dressed in a green blouse and black garment on the lower part of her body, walked into the path of the motor vehicle.
She was this loving person. She's a hardworking girl. She loved to see the place clean. She's very kind, jovial, and very friendly. She always tries to see how best she can help regardless of the little she has, even when I tell her that I'm okay, you are in need of it more than I am. That's the type of person she is.
Family members mourning but not exactly casting blame on the driver for the death. An indication from relatives that the mother of 5 perhaps stressed.
When she needs medication, then you know she's not in her state of mind. She still tries to take care of them regardless of her situation. But the last time I heard she say something, she said, "Me tell that I pity them. Me tell that they take care of it." That was when I come in. That was a Tuesday. Week before last week, Tuesday, today exactly.
The children reportedly not having eaten on occasions, bringing discomfort to the family members who intervened when they could. Miss Curry many times also said not to have eaten well. The fathers of the children called in at times to take them when things got out of hand. A team effort to help Miss Curry where necessary. This time the intervention came a little too late.
However, I did not get the time to be around her much. Whenever she's sick, I always have her. You can ask me auntie them. I always come for her and bring her at my house and stuff like that. But this trip, I didn't get that opportunity to have her by my side because I had to work.
I mean, tell what I can be in, drop her up, do everything, try to feed her, and do everything to her. That's why I'm saying, relax yourselves. Lie down and see him take your medication and just sleep and just not watch nothing. But you should put too much things on her head.
The last fatal accident on that section of the highway took place on February 1 when a father and son was killed at the very same spot. It is hoped the authorities will act accordingly to to have the area better lit to preserve life. For CVM News, I'm Damon Phillips.
3 Chinese nationals were robbed of millions of dollars at their home in Spot Valley, St. James by armed men. Reports are the Chinese they were asleep and they woke to see 5 men with their faces covered. The men reportedly gained access to the house by prying the front door open. One of the men was reportedly armed with a handgun and the others with knives. It's understood they robbed the Chinese of $15,000 US, 4 million Jamaican dollars, 5,000 Canadian dollars, 500 yuan, 300 euros, 300 pounds, 2 black iPhone 14 each valuing 700 US, 1 white Redmi cell phone also valued 700 US, and a wallet. Now the men then made their escape on foot in the area. Residents of Green Pond, St. James are praising the quick response and work of the police in foiling an attempted break-in at a shop and the apprehension of 2 of the culprits early Sunday morning. Reports are about 7:43 p.m. on Saturday, the shop owner securely locked the establishment and left. However, at around 2 a.m. on Sunday, a motorist driving past the establishment observed that there was no light at the rear of the establishment and notified the owner. It's understood it was then that they heard noises coming from the rear section of the premises. The police were alerted and on their arrival they saw men using tools to break into the establishment. The police called out to the men and they ran in separate directions. The police then gave chase and managed to apprehend one of the suspects, while another jumped over a precipice, injuring himself before becoming unresponsive. The third man made his escape on foot in the area. Now, a team from the Barnett Street Fire Brigade was notified and on their arrival assisted in removing the injured suspect from the bottom of the precipice. He was then rushed to hospital. He was admitted on the police guard, undergoing treatment. 5 fishermen, including 3 brothers from White House in Westmoreland, are happy to be alive after a horrifying incident at sea. CVM News spoke with the owner of the boat, Andrew Swaby, also known as Cartoon, who says the captain and crew left the area for Pedro Banks on Monday night for a usual 12-hour fishing trip.
So we plan to coming back Saturday night for Sunday morning. So based on the call I get, the stress call, the boat meet a little accident in the ocean. The weather change and the boat bust on the side. So it was swamping and then they go to get rescued by a Honduras boat.
CVM News understands the men are 70, 58, 55, 50 and 40 years old and are best known by their aliases. Karam, the captain, and his brothers, Power and Bully. The others are Donovan and Bad Road.
Were they in the water or before they got it?
They're never in the water. They bail the boat, keep bailing the boat until they reach the Honduras boat.
Oh, so they headed towards the Honduras boat?
Yeah. Captain run the boat to the Honduras boat and save themselves.
And that boat took them back to...
No, you see, that's the problem now. We reached out to them, we tell them we're going to buy them some gas and things, buy about the diesel, but they said they cannot take back my boat. I lose the boat. I lose the boat and the engine, but I save the men. I sent the next boat from White House. I asked my captain, Ed, an ex-captain, to go and rescue them. So we get some gas and we load the other boat and then we go rescue them off of the Honduras boat.
Now, Mr. Sinclair says the fishermen only saved the life vest they were wearing. He's appealing for help not only for them but also for himself, as he was severely impacted by Melissa.
Was it an old boat or?
A new boat. I have that boat, I bought it after the storm because I have an ex-boat that get mashed up in the storm. So I bought a new boat and do all the renovate, fix on it and send it.
Celebration for National Journalism Week 2025 wrapped up Saturday night with the fraternity acknowledging the works of its youngest and brightest talents across various categories at the PAJ Awards. The night dominated by the RJR Gleaner Group saw top awards going to same. Now, the Gleaner Company's Kimon Witter bagged the coveted top prize for Journalist of the Year, while Amoy Harriet, formerly of Television Jamaica, nabbed the Young Journalist of the Year award. Harriet also copped several other awards. Additionally, the President's Award for Investigative Journalism, sponsored by Jamaica Broilers, went to Jovan Johnson and Linvern Barrett of the Gleaner Company Limited for the FID appointment saga. Jovan Johnson and Giovanni Dennis both secured several other prestigious awards and nominations. Meanwhile, the Hugh Crosskill Raymond Award for Sports Journalism, sponsored by Jerry and Nephew Limited for print media, went to Rudy Allen of Jamaica Observer Media Group, while the electronic media category was won by Keon Rayner of Television Jamaica. As growing tensions force the globe to zoom in on the Middle East, a Jamaican-born man living in war-torn Abu Dhabi assured his family back home he's fine for now, despite ongoing airstrikes. He told CVM News he's forced to keep watch at nights as the government urges them to shelter in place.
What would usually be hours reserved for sleep have become dreadful, slowly passing minutes without the sun's visual support for many in the Middle East being impacted by the tripartite war. Explosions, death, screams of anguish, all during Ramadan, a holy time from February 17 to March 19, observed by Muslims worldwide as a month of fasting, communal prayer, reflection, and community. It's partly why this Imam, born and raised in Jamaica, is invoking peace. He told CVM News he keeps watch at night.
What we're really praying for now is that there'll be some they can open the door for diplomacy, because this is escalating by the minute. So we hope it's very tense, not only the loss of human life, but the energy facilities have been hit. It is affecting global energy supply, and it could lead to a world recession. But we are concerned now. We are praying as an imam. I am currently praying for peace, and I hope that the rational voices, the rational and moderate voices of humanity will continue to work on the path of peace.
This was not always the case, however, according to the 69-year-old holy man.
The UAE is a wonderful country. Would that be Dubai is a wonderful country. Normally it's very secure. We have no crime in Abu Dhabi, no crime in Dubai. Crime is basically zero. So it's a country where you can go outside at 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and not worry if anybody is going to worry you. You can go to the ATM right now. So it's basically a very safe and secure environment, right? So normally we have and outside of the military conflict, we're all very secure and safe. Very, particularly in Abu Dhabi, the capital of the UAE, which is Abu Dhabi, very safe and secure. And to take heart that the government of the UAE has extended tremendous humanity and generosity for its beloved citizens, for members of the immigrant community, and for tourists.
He's praying the leaders locked in military warfare will come to some agreement shortly that will stem the global fallouts.
Trump said a month, but we don't know if it will be a month, 3 months, a year. We don't know. Because with each passing day, there are new developments. The Strait of Hormuz is now being closed. It's under attack. Right? The Iranians have asked to close the Strait of Hormuz. But in a nutshell, I see this military conflict as impacting, one, human life. And I'd like to take this opportunity to extend my condolences to the families of all those who have been killed in this unfortunate military conflict. But beyond the loss of human life is first and foremost, because we must always remember that human life is sacrosanct.
The JLP's youth arm, Young Jamaica, is this evening blasting PNP President Mark Golding for allegedly failing to discipline East Central St Andrew MP Dennis Gordon following fresh revelations about Gordon's company Jack Dem. Reports show Jack Dem allegedly improperly benefited from the University of the West Indies' tax-exempt status to import over $40 million in furniture and equipment on top of a previous $30 million US scandal flagged by the Auditor General. Young Jamaica says taxpayers have lost millions, while Gordon has yet to deny the allegations. They also point to Jack Dem's illegal building scandal, accusing Golding of shielding a political protege. The group is demanding Gordon's resignation as MP, Region 3 Chairman, and removal from all parliamentary committees overseeing public funds, warning Golding's inaction undermines his credibility on transparency and accountability. Time now for a look at regional and overseas news.
We begin with news in the region. In Trinidad and Tobago, the acting Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs on Friday outlined the government's contingency plans for nationals caught in the escalating Middle East conflict. TTT News has the details.
The ministry's focus has been on establishing communications, seeing to logistics, and arranging safe passage for emergencies. In Saudi Arabia, our records show that we have 42 nationals, in Bahrain 5, in the United Arab Emirates 169, that is Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Jeremy said the ministry had established a crisis response program comprising of an emergency hotline, which is available on the ministry's website and all social media platforms.
In Qatar, 108, and in Kuwait, we have no records at present. The ministry has been contacted by the following number of persons to date. Number of calls received from nationals on behalf of their families in the Middle East for the period 2nd to 5th March, 10. Number of emails from nationals and nationals in the Middle East.
And on the international scene, in Iran, huge explosions were heard across Tehran as the city remains engulfed in smoke and toxic air following overnight US and Israeli strikes on oil facilities. Al Jazeera tells us more.
Here we are in the western areas of Tehran, in Shahran neighborhood, where one of the depots targeted by a campaign of American and Israeli strikes can be seen behind me. And as you can see, thick smoke is drifting through the air, and of course this is one of the oil facilities of the country that has been targeted. Several fuel depots in southeast and western parts as well as eastern parts of the capital were hit, sending flames and heavy toxic smoke high into the sky. That smoke has now spread across almost the entire capital, and from different points, specifically from the skylines, Tehran can be barely visible through the dense blanket of pollution. And for people here, this is yet another crisis piled on top of many others. Over the past days, the city has already come under repeated airstrikes, with attacks not only targeting military headquarters, police stations, and the state buildings, but also severely impacting many residential areas. Now, on top of these strikes themselves, residents are dealing with a growing public health concern. The toxic smoke from the burning fuel depots has engulfed the capital and is drifting towards neighboring cities, raising serious fear and concerns about air quality.
That's it for regional and international news. I'm Kevin Black.
A quite fitting story now on this International Women's Day. After years on a dedicated journey from surgery through rehabilitation to fitting and prosthetic training to include building strength and balance, an Inspire Jamaica ambassador is saying thanks, now poised on giving back in the next chapter she's diligently pursuing.
Make this world a better place if you can.
From an Inspire Jamaica toddler, now 18-year-old Nodia Nodi Watson, Inspire Jamaica ambassador and a proud Westwood High sixth former.
Hey again guys, as you can see I changed my whole attire from last time. So basically it has been a very interesting journey. No man's journey can basically be summed up with these 2 feet right here. So as you can see with my new prosthetic leg, since this is basically marking my final journey, wow, what an opportunity. Well, from that point on, since I've been 3-4 years old, since 2011, it has been certainly a wild ride. From basically having no legs, running around on my knees and all of that, to now being able to stand before you today and do all kind of stuff, dances and all them sitting there. So I just wanted to again point out Shriners for all that they have done for me for about 14 or 15 years.
My name is Meredith Rares. I work at POPS, which stands for Pediatric Orthotic and Prosthetic Services at Shriners Hospitals for Children in Galveston, Texas. And just fell in love with her at the very first because she's so... Nodia has a light inside of her that shines through in her smile and her being, and it was an absolute joy to treat her. She is always willing to try something new and help me figure out what works for her. She comes with goals and just a lot of light and love.
Okay, Inspire Jamaica. So I know it's been a while since you have seen me, since from that time I said I wanted to be a doctor, pediatrician, take care of babies and everything. But now I've shifted my perspective and my focus, now being in sixth form, and as you can see, I am more interested in the lines of engineering since growing up around mostly prosthetics and different types of technology and all of that. It has inspired me and fueled me more to want to contribute to who has basically helped me out with my prosthetics, and also to give back to society and to make my mark on basically anywhere in this world. Engineering, though it is a male-dominated type of field, go against the odds and promote better representation for us girls, especially girls who may feel like they aren't enough or are maybe in the same situation as me and quote-unquote disabled. But honestly, I know that we can basically make a difference, make an impact, and with Inspire Jamaica, I can basically show that to you guys that we can be the difference and we can make a change. And I hope more people are interested in engineering as I am right now.
Just look at some of the CSEC pieces of Westwood's top art student for 2025. Just one of the 8 areas in which she has made an impression.
Now, to close out in a true Inspire Jamaica fashion, I have to basically speak to you, Jamaica, on the treatment of us inspirees, or not even inspirees, anybody who may have a disability. Though I may have been energetic and that fun-loving and confident little girl you may have seen before, time can get rough sometimes as you grow up, especially if you are a teenager going into more adulthood and everything, or young adulthood. It can be very much hard to find acceptance because you really truly just want to belong, right? But with your disability, you feel as though that's something that may never happen because it's either physical or mental, whichever it may be. I just want to say that you are very much loved, even if you're not seeing it now or feeling it now. You're not only loved by God, you're loved by me too, even though I may